Hello.
Yes, sir.
Ah, I don't know why. Lot of disturbances. Okay. So all came back once again. Hope I am audible. Hope you can hear me, all of you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. That's fine. So we are understanding the word marshalling. Section 81 I was explaining you. To understand this section, let us take a small, simple story-like illustration so that you will not forget this word. You know, there are people having ownership of immovable property. Some people may be without any properties. Some people may be having one property. Some people may be having two properties. Some people will be having more than two properties. So, this section will come into force, come into action in case of a person having the ownership of two properties or more than two properties. What is the thing you have to remember is this section will come into action when a person is having the ownership of a minimum of two properties or more than two properties. That means if a person is having only one property, that is only one immovable property, then marshalling is not going to come into action. So the minimum requirement is there must be a person who must have the ownership of two properties, or he may be having the ownership of more than two properties. Now this person, let us consider this person who is the owner of two properties or more than two properties. Mortgages two or more properties to another person. So the owner of two or more properties mortgages them to another person for some money, for some period. After some time, the same owner of the property mortgages one of such property or more than one such property to some other person. So what we have understood? There has to be a person who is the owner of two properties or more than two properties, or there has to be a person who is mortgaging these properties to one person, and subsequently the same person mortgages one of the property or more than one of the property to a third person. Only then the word marshalling will come into action. What is this marshalling? Marshalling is the right of the subsequent mortgagee against the prior mortgagee. What is marshalling? It is a right. Whose right? It is a right of that subsequent mortgagee. He can exercise the right against the first mortgagee or the prior mortgagee. To prevent the prior mortgagee from claiming and selling the property, mortgaged to subsequent mortgagee. Now let us understand this one with an illustration. Consider Mr. A is the owner of 4 houses. We will give a name to every house. House number 1, H1. House number 2, H2. House number 3, H3. And house number 4, H4. Mr. A is the owner of 4 different houses. Okay. Mr. A mortgaged all the 4 houses to Mr. B for a period of 6 years for 60 lakhs of rupees in the year 2001. So what is the meaning of this? So the mortgage will become complete by the year 2007. So by 2007, Mr. A has to arrange all the money and he must repay the money to Mr. B. Now Mr. A, he has taken the loan from Mr. B, but after 3 years, that is in the year 2004, Mr. A, he was in need of more money, more loan. So Mr. A, he has mortgaged house number 4. House number 4 to Mr. C for a period of 5 years for 5 lakhs rupees. For a period of 5 years for rupees 5 lakhs. So now A is the mortgager, B is the prior mortgagee, C is the subsequent mortgagee. Consider Mr. A is not in a position to repay the money. Consider Mr. A is not at all in a position to repay the money. 6 years is over. B says, I want my money back. Now the question is, A is not having any money at all. What Mr. B can do to get back his property, his money? As I have told you, I have explained you from section 67 to 77, the rights and liabilities of the mortgagee. There I have explained you under section 67, the right to foreclosure. Remember this. Right to foreclosure. Can anyone explain what is the right to foreclosure? Any one of you?
So it is when the time period is over, the mortgager has right to take back his property.
You are confused, little confused you are. Good, you tried. Yes, anyone? Right to foreclosure. Section
That is the right
67.
of mortgager. Sorry, mortgagee,
Mortgagee.
Mortgage.
Sorry.
Ah, very good.
Sorry.
mortgagee,
Okay.
exactly. And
Ah,
this right is used by the mortgagee at the
uh-huh.
time when the time period of mortgage is complete, is expires, and the
Mhm.
mortgager does not returns his amount of debt. So the
Correct.
mortgagee approaches court with this right to
Hmm.
claim the amount of debt which he is bound, like,
Entitled to get.
yeah, he is entitled to get
Ah,
from
very
the
good. Very
mortgager.
good. Very good. That much is enough. Okay, you remember it. Good. Now, hope you are seeing my screen, and I have written here H1, H2, H3, H4. Right? Can you see that one?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, in the examination, even in big textbooks, they don't write in the simplest manner so that the student can get little understanding about the subject matter. See, here I have written H1, H2, H3, H4. All the four houses, it has been mortgaged to Mr. B here. See, all this. That's why I have written like this. Now, when Mr. B could not get back the money, he has the right to foreclosure. Now, the question is, can Mr. B file the case, request the court, Your Honor, I want to sell all the four houses? Can he make a request? When he makes a request, when he files the application before the court of law, then Mr. C will make a petition before the court of law. Who is Mr. C? The subsequent mortgagee. He is having the right to submit the petition under Section 81, that is right of marshalling. Mr. C will come to the court of law, and he is going to file the petition saying, Your Honor, there are four houses, H1, H2, H3, and H4, Your Honor. I request, Honorable Court, to prevent Mr. B from claiming house number 4, which is mortgaged to me. It is a security for my money. I have given 5 lakhs of rupees. It is my money. H4 is for me. It is the security for my money. Your Honor, compel Mr. B not to claim H4, which is mortgaged to me. This right of Mr. C against Mr. B is called as right of marshalling. Have you understood little? All of you, have you understood little?
Sir, can you please repeat once again?
Yeah. This Mr. A, he is the owner of 4 houses. We have given the name as H1, H2, H3, and H4. Mr. A is the absolute owner of all these 4 houses. Now, Mr. A has mortgaged the property to Mr. B for a period of 6 years for rupees 60 lakhs. All the 4 houses has been mortgaged to Mr. B. Now, Mr. A mortgaged only one house, that is house number 4, to Mr. C in the year 2004 for a period of 5 years for rupees 5 lakhs. So there are 3 persons here. Mr. A is called the mortgager. Mr. B is called the prior mortgagee. Mr. C is called subsequent mortgagee. The first mortgage, Mr. B's 6-year period is over. Now he is having the right to get back his money. When when Mr. A fails to give back the money, Mr. B has the right to foreclosure. He can go to the court of law, he can file the petition, he can request the honorable court to keep away Mr. A from the property so that he should not claim the property and sell off the property and give my money back. He can make a request. When such a petition is filed in the court of law by the mortgagee, that is the prior mortgagee, against Mr. A, then C will come into picture. Mr. C will have the right according to section 81. Mr. C can request the court, Your Honor, I am having the right of marshalling. I request that the court will prevent Mr. B from claiming house number 4, which is mortgaged to me. It is a security for my loan, Your Honor. So, excluding my property, let all the other property be sold and to satisfy the loan of Mr. B. This right of Mr. C to keep away Mr. B, the prior mortgagee, from claiming that property which is mortgaged to Mr. C is called as right of marshalling or marshalling. Hope you got it now. Have you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us move ahead in this problem. Okay. But there are exceptions. So far you might be having some doubts in your mind. Oh, the first person, he has the right to sell all the 4 houses. Why he will be prevented? You have this kind of little doubts. Now I want to clear the doubt. But there are 2 exceptions. Under the following 2 exceptions, the subsequent mortgagee cannot exercise the right of marshalling or marshalling right. What is that? What are the exceptions? The first exception. Contract to the contrary. You know, when in the above, we will take the same example above. We will take the same illustration so that we will understand more clearly. Consider Mr. A has mortgaged all the 4 houses to Mr. B in the year 2001 for rupees 60 lakhs for 6 years. And Mr. A has mortgaged house number 4 to Mr. C in the year 2004 for rupees 5 lakhs for a period of 5 years. Now, Mr. A, while entering into the second mortgage with Mr. C, has given the information about the existence of the first mortgage with Mr. B. And Mr. A has taken an acceptance about the first mortgage, and Mr. A has also taken a letter from Mr. C saying, I am not going to exercise the right of marshalling. I am not going to exercise the right of marshalling. So, there is a contract between the mortgager and the prior subsequent mortgagee that in the future dates to come, Mr. prior subsequent mortgagee is not going to exercise the marshalling right. when the subsequent mortgagee gives up his right by means of an agreement, by means of a contract, then he is going to lose the right of marshalling. Okay? Okay? You can simply write this one. Now the second point, second exception, failure to satisfy prior mortgage debt. Coming back to the same illustration. Consider Mr. A failed to return the money to Mr. B in the year 2007. Mr. B wants the money back. Mr. B wants the money. So, Mr. B has filed the right to foreclosure against Mr. A. And Mr. C comes and says, no, the house number 4 should be my security. The court says, okay, we will respect right to foreclosure, and at the same time, we have to respect the right to foreclosure. We know that you have the right to marshalling, but we have the right to foreclosure. We have to consider that one. What is that? Mr. B is having the right of priority. Mr. B is having the right of priority. Mr. B is having the right to collect the complete amount of mortgage money. So the court will say, we will sell the first 3 houses. If the first 3 houses fetches the complete mortgage money of Mr. B, then H4 will not be touched. It will not be sold. But if H1, H2, H3, all the 3 properties are sold in the market and it could not satisfy completely rupees 60 lakhs, then Mr. B is having the right to sell off house number 4, which is mortgaged to Mr. C. Mr. B is having the priority to sell house number 4 in order to get back the complete amount of money. So, in such a circumstance, Mr. C is not going to exercise the right of marshalling. Okay? Yeah, please ask me the doubts. If you have any doubt in this, please ask me. One by one, if you have any doubt, please ask me. Hello? Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you have any doubt, Ma?
Sir, being very frank, I'm little
please.
getting problem in understanding this actually. It's kind of little tricky.
Yes,
I feel.
yes, you are right, you are right. You are right. Now you simply, can you explain this figure? What I have, what you have understood, you tell me.
I will confuse, sir.
Don't worry,
ask
don't
me.
worry. No,
I'm
no, don't
actually
worry.
very confused.
Don't worry. Whatever confusion you have, you try to tell. No problem.
Sir, is it like A is the owner of four houses, that is H1, H2, H3, and H4, and he want to mortgage all the four houses to another person, that is Mr. B,
Very good.
and like the in illustration which is given here is for 6 years for
Uh-huh.
60 lakhs in a year. So for 6 years he will get 60 lakh from Mr. B.
Okay. Okay.
Again, Mr. A, uh, yeah, I think because still Mr. B was in possession for 6 years, but still A mortgaged house number 4 to C for 5 years.
Very good. You have
And
understood. Hmm.
yeah.
Proceed. Proceed.
So again, because the 6 year tenure was not over, that
Huh.
is 2001, and again in 2004, that is around after 3 years or 4 years,
Hmm.
he mortgaged the property which was in possession of Mr. B to C for 5 years in addition, for 5 lakhs rupees in
Yeah.
the year 2004.
Very good.
So
Very good. Good.
till this much I got, sir, but I'm very confused that
Yeah.
is
Now,
it
now,
because
okay. I'll tell you. Now you have understood Mr. A is the mortgager. Mr. B is the first mortgagee. Mr.
Yes,
C
sir.
is the subsequent mortgagee. You know these three persons.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, the prior mortgagee, 6 years is over. The prior mortgage term of 6 years is completed.
Okay.
He wants his money back. He wants his money. So when he wants his money, he can exercise the right to foreclosure. He can go to the court, he is having all the right to sell off all the four houses to get back his money. Okay. He can sell all the four houses. But at that time, Mr. C, he comes to the court. Say, Mr. B, don't touch my property. Don't touch house number 4, which is mortgaged to me. This is my security. Okay, this is the valuable security for my loan, which I have given to Mr. A. So, what I want to say is, I have the right to keep this property with me, and you leave this property, H4, and you have the freedom to sell all the other 3 houses so that you can collect back your money. This right to tell Mr. B, this right of Mr. C to tell Mr. B, hey, Mr. B, don't touch house number 4. Leave it like that. Sell away all the other 3 houses in satisfaction of your loan. This right to tell Mr. B is called as right to marshalling. Got it?
Sir, my doubt was, can the same right can be practiced by C? Sorry, practiced by B also, because initially he was holding the possession, and during that time only A mortgaged the same property, like a part of that particular possession, to C.
Yes.
So it is can B or C or both the parties can go for marshalling, or only one party can apply for that?
No. Marshalling is the right available to Mr. C. That means the subsequent mortgagee. Okay. Don't get confused. The Mr. B is not having the right of marshalling. No. Mr. C is the only person having the right of marshalling. Right?
So sir, this mortgaging, like the mortgaging which takes place between A and C, is it valid? Because the position is already in the hands of B. So again, can A mortgage the same property to C? Because
in our country, there are a kind of people who can do so many things. They should not mortgage one property to one person and another person and another person, another person. No, they should not do it. It's not good. But if it is done, and if the earlier mortgages are not known to the subsequent mortgagee, so subsequent mortgagee has given the loan. So when the earlier mortgagee tries to sell away all the property, the subsequent mortgagee can tell, hey, Mr. prior mortgagee, please don't touch that property which is mortgaged to me. Allow me to retain this property because it is the security for my loan. This right of only Mr. C is called marshalling. That's all. This right of marshalling is not available to Mr. B. It's only available to the subsequent mortgagee against the prior mortgagee. Okay? What about others? Milan? Lavin?
Yes, sir, I have understood, sir.
अच्छा. ओ Lavin bhai, क्या हुआ?
Yes, I'm also clear.
Can you explain, Lavin? Whatever you have understood, tell Mansi.
Sir, in this situation, as there are 4 houses which belongs to Mr. A, he is the owner of all the houses, and initially he mortgaged all the 4 houses to Mr. B in the year 2001 for 6 years, and for getting 60 lakhs of amount. Then, secondly, what he did, the 4th house, Mr. A again mortgaged to Mr. C for next 5 years in the year 2004.
Very good. Good.
So that means the first time period of mortgage was not complete. Still 2 years were left.
Okay.
So then when the time comes of recovery of amount, so here Mr. C says that you already have 3 houses
Very good.
mortgaged with you, and
Huh.
so it is a wrong procedure that once a property is mortgaged, he has again mortgaged the same property to another person, Mr. A. So what I understood is Mr. C has requested Mr. B to collect your amount over H1, H2 and H3 and leave H4 for me.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Good. This is called marshalling, right?
Yes, sir.
Hope you understood, ma? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So marshalling is available only to a subsequent mortgagee against whom? Against the prior mortgagee only. Okay. Yeah. So there are 2 exceptions I have told you. This right of marshalling is not available in respect of 2 circumstances. The number 1, when there is a contract against this marshalling, contract to the contrary. I told you the first circumstance. Mr. A told Mr. C when he was entering into the contract, second mortgage, Mr. A has told Mr. C, and in the deed of contract he has mentioned that C must not exercise the right of marshalling. C must not exercise the right of marshalling. Mr. A has told that there is already a prior mortgage of 60 lakhs of rupees to Mr. B, and it will expire in 2007. Okay. Then when Mr. B tries to sell the property, he is having the right even to sell house number 4, and you should not make any objection. You should not exercise the marshalling right. Mr. C knows about Mr. B, knows the first mortgage, and he has signed that agreement, signed that contract. Thereby, Mr. C has given up his right of marshalling. Okay, so this is the first circumstance. Second circumstance, that is failure to satisfy prior mortgage debt. Mr. B, consider that he sold house 1, house 2, house 3. But he could not get back his money. Complete 60 lakhs, he could not get back his money. When he could not get back his money, then Mr. B is having the absolute right to sell off house number 4 because he is having the priority. So due to priority, when Mr. B could not collect all the amount of money, he has the right to sell that property which is mortgaged to the subsequent mortgagee. There, Mr. C, the subsequent mortgagee, cannot exercise the right of marshalling. Okay? Yeah. Any one of you explain this exception once again, please. One by one, explain one point. Hello? Oh, Milinda? You're not hearing me. Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, that's what. At least you explain one exception and let another student explain another exception.
Sir, in the first contract to the contrary, it states about the right of marshalling can be excluded by contract. So,
Very good.
in what circumstances it can be done? Like, for example, as it is given here in the as Mr. A entered into a second mortgage with Mr. C, but simultaneously he uh, disclosed the fact that he has already mortgaged the H4 to Mr. B as well. So he requests him that please, at the time of recovering the amount, don't ask Mr. B to get your amount. So in this pattern, C cannot claim his amount from Mr. B. This is what I understood, which is.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. 90%. One small thing you have to understand there. See, when the first mortgage has been brought to the knowledge of the subsequent mortgagee, and there is a contract between the mortgager and the subsequent mortgagee, by which the subsequent mortgagee has given up the right of marshalling, then he cannot exercise the right. He has given it in writing, I'm not going to exercise the right of marshalling. Then that person, that subsequent mortgagee, Mr. C, loses his right according to section 81. Yeah,
Sir,
second.
but why would any subsequent mortgagee will do so? Like any mortgagee needs an assurity.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. You are right. Generally, the second mortgagee, majority people will say, "Arre yaar, why should I? Why should I? I must get back my money. I am giving the loan. How can I allow someone to claim this property?" So such people will go away from the deal, will go away from the business. But consider some people will be there who are, for example, if H4 is a land, agriculture land, C wants to cultivate that land and he is in need of that land. So, or if H4 is a house and Mr. C wants to reside in that house, he may give the loan to Mr. A. There, Due to some circumstances peculiar to himself, he wants that property, so he will give the loan, and also he may just say, yes, I am not going to exercise the right of marshalling. Mr. C is having the right to accept or to reject. If he accepts, then he is bound by it. That's all. Okay? Yeah,
Yes,
tell
sir.
this. Yeah, tell the second one. Second exception. Any one of you.
Sir, maybe in this point it says that the right of the right, for example, in this particular example, the right which it belongs to B, he has full right to exercise that. So unnecessarily or unwanted restriction should not be imposed by C uh, in order where C wants to go for marshalling, but still, there are certain right and restriction which is there, which will benefit Mr. B. So such right should be without any further restriction, must be exercised, and unwanted things should be avoided, if
Very
I'm
good.
not wrong.
Very good. So now, Mr. B is first in time when compared to Mr. C. Mr. B gave the loan in 2001, that is 60 lakhs of rupees, a very big amount of money. Mr. C came second in time, that is in 2004, an amount of rupees 5 lakhs. Now, first period is over. Mr. B is having the right to foreclosure. He has the right to get back his money. Consider Mr. B sold house number 1, house number 2, house number 3. Consider it has fetched about 58 lakhs of rupees. Only 58 lakhs of rupees. When Mr. B could not satisfy, when Mr. B, the prior mortgagee, could not get back all the money by selling all the other property, then Mr. B cannot be stopped, cannot be prevented from selling house number 4 by Mr. B. B is having the priority right to get back the complete amount of money. So Mr. B has the right to sell house number 4 in order to get back the complete mortgage money of 60 lakhs. Then Mr. C cannot exercise the marshalling. Hope you got the point now. By selling H1, H2, H3, if they got only 58 lakhs of rupees, still there is shortage of 2 lakhs, then Mr. B can sell house number 4 also, so that he can get back the full amount of 60 lakhs. So these are the 2 exceptions. And in this exam, they may ask you this case. Aldrich versus Copper, 1803. In the examination, some of these cases will be given.
Sir, this is the case for normal marshalling. No, this is not the case for exception.
Yeah, this is for marshalling, ma. This is for marshalling. Okay. So when this case is given, you have to write, this case has been given under section 81, marshalling. You have to explain, marshalling is the right of the subsequent mortgagee against the prior mortgagee. Okay. You have to write, this is necessary to prevent the prior mortgagee from claiming and selling the property mortgaged to subsequent mortgagee. And you can write further one sentence. It shall not depend on the will of one creditor to disappoint another creditor. Okay, so if they ask you this case, simply write this case explains marshalling under section 81. Okay, these cases.
Sir,
Okay.
I have one query, sir.
Please.
Sir, the example which you gave between Mr. A, B, and C,
Ah.
is it a valid mortgage or like invalid, sir?
Very good, very good, very good. See, these owners of the properties, they have their own pains, own necessities, own expenses. Generally, they should not mortgage many times. They can mortgage one property to one person, that's all. They should not mortgage. But in practice, there are people who are mortgaging one property to one person, another person, another person, another person. Right? So, we cannot say it is illegal. You know, in a direct shot, we cannot say it is illegal. But it is immoral. We can say it is not fair. We can say that one. Okay, we cannot cut and right say it is illegal. No, it is not fair. It's a kind of cheating subsequent mortgages. Okay.
Yes, sir. Because why I ask this question? Because if in case, there are, I don't know if there is any case which can say that this kind of agreement is valid. So in that case, I just wanted to know, for example, in any case, if it is given that, okay, this kind of marshalling or this kind of the process of mortgaging A's property to B and C is valid. So I just wanted to know, in that case, the C should hold that position after the completion of 6 years, or how? Because if they, for example, in this case, the first property was mortgaged to B in 2001 and again C in 2004.
Yes.
B will hold the position of property for 6 years and C will hold it for 5 years.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to know is, after the completion of 6 years, the C can the 5 year will be counted for C, or from that time when the property is mortgaged to him, from that day we will count 5 years.
From the date of the mortgage. From the date of the mortgage. Okay.
Okay.
So, Mr. C, he is not doing anything illegal here. It may be a kind of fraud by Mr. A, but Mr. C is also has given the loan. He has given the money. So he also have the right to get back his money. He has the right to protect that property, which is the security. Okay. It's not illegal.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, if they ask you for a short notes, marshalling, generally they will ask you in exam, 1 page you have to write. Okay. But sometimes they will ask you the main question. How they ask you the main question? Explain marshalling and contribution with illustrations. Then you have to write about 2.5 or 3 pages with these essentials. Okay, so when they ask you the main question, what is marshalling and contribution? Explain with relevant illustrations. So there, what all we have understood today, marshalling, you have to write. Then again you have to go to another section, section 82, called as contribution. I think all of you are very, very familiar with this word, contribution. Can anyone tell me the meaning of this word? One by one?
So you want the meaning as per the act or just normal meaning?
General meaning. As an Indian, you tell me.
Sir, in general terms, if we are talking about just a word contribution in the property, then it is like, incurring certain kind of amount. It can be debt or any kind of monetary expenses, or which it can be any kind of addition or any kind of giving up to that particular property, which will indeed help to increase the or uplift the status of that particular thing. So it's like contributing towards that particular, like contributing towards anything which will indeed increase the status or quality of that particular thing or property.
Yeah. Now, my simple question to all of you. What is your contribution to make this country a wonderful country? All of you, one by one, tell me. What is your contribution to make this country into a wonderful country?
So is it like taking care of our national heritage, or this is also a kind of contribution?
Yeah, you tell me. You are all young, energetic persons. Come on.
Not encouraging or supporting corruption.
Oh, yes. Very good. Oh, Melinda.
So it can also be like contributing towards like better proposal presented by government, for example, Swachh Abhiyan and all. That will also be a kind of contribution towards
You
betterment
know,
of the country.
some 100 years back, there was a word. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Do you know this word?
Yes, sir.
I heard it's
Who gave this word? Today we have forgetting that one and we are thinking of Swachh Bharat. Cleanliness is next to godliness. See that sentence? Sentence of wise people. Sentence, it is not the sentence of fools and stupids. It is the sentence of nation builders. It is not the sentence of national destructors.
spirituals.
So, India is here, India was there, India will be there. Whether the present people will be there or not, India will be there for the next thousands of years to come. Who are we? Who are we?
India.
Are we contributing to the destruction of this country, or are we contributing to the wellness of this country, to bring glory to this country? All of you have a
Both,
heart,
sir.
all of you have a heart, a mind. Think impartially without favoring any political parties. Do not take sides. You must be neutral personality. If you favor one political party, no, you cannot take a judgment. You will not be a judge. You will have the partiality towards that party. Today's contribution is this. If you learn, if you gain knowledge, if you become persons of knowledge, if you can face the world by your talks, if you can answer the questions to the world, yes, you are contributing to the development of this nation. If you are planting one tree here and there at least, it is your contribution. You are spreading humanity. It is your contribution to the unity of this country. A beggar comes to you. An old man, a 78-year-old man comes to you. You may contribute 10 rupees to him so that he may take one morsel of food. That is your contribution. You are spreading love and affection in the name of humanity. You are protecting the animals. So many things are there to contribute for the glory name of our country. Contribution means our services, our part of duty towards a particular thing, towards a particular goal. So, contribution, section 82. It says, contribution to the mortgage. What is this? What is the word contribution? Let us understand. Here is a simple illustration. You know, once upon a time, India was having 2 generations, 3 generations, 4 generations together in the same house. Today we have separated ourselves from our ancestors. We want to have our own life. Your parents, your grandparents were creating 10, 11, 12, 13, children. Today we are creating 1 or 2. So here is an example. Let us understand this. Let us understand the word contribution. Consider a family. Family of a father and 4 sons. All these 5 members are enjoying the ancestral properties. All the 5 members are enjoying the ancestral property. Consider there is a 20 acre of land. Ancestral property of 20 acre of fertile land. Father is the caretaker of the family. And for the purpose of development of the family property, in the year 2001, he raised a mortgage or a loan of 5 lakhs of rupees for a period of 5 years. So, what we have understood? A family of 5 persons raised a loan in the year 2001 for 5 years for a period of rupees 5 lakhs. The same family in the year 2003 raised another loan on the same property. That is also for a period of 5 years for rupees 5 lakhs in order to meet the medical expenses of the father. So there are 2 loans. Time will not be the same always. Pain will not be the same always. And happiness will not be the same always. There will be changes. what happened is, in the year 2004, father suffered natural death. Father has gone. Now there are 4 brothers, 4 sons only. We call them as brothers now. All the 4 sons or the 4 brothers, they entered into a discussion and they agreed, come on, let us divide the property. It's ancestral. Now let us have our separate portions. We will divide the property. And all the 4 sons divided the property equally. How many acres of land they had? Tell me, one of you. How many acres?
20, sir.
20 acres. Now how many sons are there?
4.
4 sons are there. How much property they will get if they take equally?
5 acres each.
Very good. 5 acres each. Now all the 4 brothers, they have become the owners of, absolute owners of 5 acres of land. Time move ahead. Time is not stagnant. Time does the justice to all the people on the earth. Time doesn't care for king or queen or prime minister or police. Time has moved away. And the first mortgage period expired. The first mortgage was in the year 2001 for a period of 5 years. So 2006 has attained, and now the first mortgage money has to be cleared. Now in the absence of the father, calculate, if you are very good in mathematics, how much money has to be contributed by all the brothers in clearing the first 5 lakhs of rupees. Tell me, calculate.
So 1.25 lakhs each.
1.25 lakhs each. Why?
Sir, because definitely the amount will be equally divided among 4 of them, as the land has been equally divided among them.
Very good. Very good. Now the question is, can you tell me the meaning of the word contribution here?
So simply like the entire land has been divided equally among 4 of them. So it is the duty of all 4 of them to equally contribute their portion.
Very good. Very good. What we have understood now, whenever there is a loan on some property and the property has been divided proportionately, and all the persons who became the absolute owner of the property have the duty to contribute according to the share of ownership in that property. This is called contribution according to section 82. Right? Now, we will go ahead in this illustration. First mortgage is over. They have contributed, all the 4 brothers have contributed rupees 1,25,000 each. Now the second mortgage time came. Second mortgage is also for 5 lakhs of rupees for a period of 5 years. And the second mortgage period is over. Now, once again, all the four brothers have the duty to contribute rupees 1,25,000 equally so that the second mortgage can be cleared. Right? So, this is called the contribution under Section 82. So what we have understood, whenever there is a loan on any immovable property, and that immovable property belongs to two persons or more than two persons, and whatever share that they have taken, according to their respective shares, they have the duty to contribute in clearing that mortgage money. This is called contribution section 82. Yeah, please one of you explain me this much what you have understood under contribution so that I can move ahead one by one.
Sir, as per the situation, it simply states that as the property will be divided among more than two person or between two person, it can also be said that. So, as per their proportion, they all are obligated, they all are bound to pay the debt amount
Very good.
as per their proportion. So
Very good.
in this present situation, as the property is divided in equal proportion, so definitely they will be liable equally to pay
Equally.
their portion.
Very good, very good. So that is contribution in clearing the loan, in clearing the mortgage money. Now, we will move ahead. There are once again, exceptions. Exceptions. There are two exceptions. Number one, contract to the contrary. That means those co-mortgagers, those persons who have taken the shares of ownership, if they enter into a different agreement, different contract than Section 82, then whatever agreement or whatever contract that they have entered in sharing that loan amount, then such a contract shall have effect against Section 82. Now let me explain this case. I'll take one more in this case. Today, when property comes today in 2020, relationship will not withstand. It may tear it off. It may just simply snap it and go away, giving more validity to the money rather than the blood relationship. Now consider in this family, we will say that there are four brothers. All have taken equally. All have to contribute 1.25, 1.25, both the loans. Consider there is an younger brother, brother number 4. He is youngest of all and he has made lot of money by doing some private business. He has made lot of money in his personal private life, nothing connected with the family. So, when they divided the property, when they have entered into that partition deed, there, that last brother, brother number 4, he says, I have 3 elder brothers. and there are 2 loans to be cleared, that is 5 lakhs each, I hereby take my personal liability to clear both the loans, and I do not want any contribution from any of my elder brothers. God has given me lot of money. I will clear when the time comes. I am going to clear that money, and I don't want any of you to clear. I know you, the 3 brothers, even though you are elder to me, you have poverty, okay? Don't worry, I will clear. So, brother number 4 has taken the complete responsibility. He has agreed voluntarily to clear all the loans on the property. Then, this section, that contribution does not come into picture. There is no question of contribution. Right? Hope you got the point.
Sir, in
Yes.
this point, I want to ask one thing. If, sir, for example, here we are talking about different forms of contribution, right? So, for example, if it is, divided in the ratio of like 2:1, for example, like 3
Okay.
mortgages or something.
Okay.
So, is it like they have to only contribute on their part? Like, for example, anything. So, I'm not talking where a person A is saying that, okay, he will pay on behalf of other called C. I'm just saying, for example, if any of the property, if there are particular ratio is there, so they are liable to pay according to that only.
Very good. Right, you are right. They have to pay according to their own shares of ownership. But here exception is, if those people enter into an agreement, enter into a contract, saying, don't worry, you don't, we will have different kinds of contribution. I myself will contribute for the entire loan. I don't want others to contribute. Then it will be fine. He will take the sole responsibility in clearing that loan. Then there is no necessity for the contribution from other brothers. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, we will go to the second point. Failure to contribute to one mortgage. See, here is a case. Ram name is good, and Ram name will be added by so many things. Here is Kashi Ram versus Het Singh, 1915, by Allahabad High Court. Allahabad, it has given wonderful judgments. Allahabad High Court, I don't know, that particular court has given wonderful judgments. Now, in this case, Kashi Ram versus Het Singh, in this case, there were 3 brothers, A, B, C. There were 3 brothers. They were enjoying ancestral property. All the 3 brothers have raised loan. First to Mr. D. They have raised loan with Mr. D. Consider for some money. You can create your own amount, some amount of money. All the 3 brothers mortgaged, first mortgage to Mr. D. And after some years, all the 3 brothers have mortgaged the same property to Mr. E. Both the mortgages are there, it's proceeding, it's going on. During this time, all the 3 brothers divided the property equally. They partitioned the property equally, equal shares. All the 3 brothers have become the absolute owners, equal rights. and they started leading their own life. And the first mortgage period expired. Now Mr. D, he gave notices to all the three. He said, I want my money back. And you know, the brothers B and C did not come forward to clear that loan. But the property which belongs to Mr. A was sold completely, and D got back his mortgage money. The first mortgage money was satisfied by selling the property belonging to Mr. A. So some years have passed. Some years have passed. Another mortgage money period expired. Now that fellow filed the case against ABC. And here, the court has ordered the selling of the property of Mr. B and C. And here Mr. B and C says, no, we want the contribution from Mr. A. So B and C, the other two brothers, they says, we demand contribution to clear the second mortgage from Mr. A. Now you tell me, is there any necessity for the contribution by Mr. A or not? You didn't understand? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, it
Can
is
A
a
be
bit
compelled
confusing.
to contribute? Can A be compelled to contribute or not?
I don't think, sir. Like it won't be justified. I think.
Very good. Why?
So because he was not the one who committed a fault. It was D, I feel.
Okay. Now read this second exception, what it says.
Sir, should I read out loudly?
Yeah, read out, everyone. Yeah, read out loudly.
Okay, sir. A, B, C mortgaged joint property first to D and then to E. Later, they partitioned the property equally into three shares. He brought a suit for sale on his mortgage and realized the amount by the sale of A's share. Later, A obtained a decree for the contribution from B and C. Thereafter, B and C redeemed the
Queen.
mortgage
Yeah.
made to E and claimed contribution from A. So it was held that they had no right to claim contribution from A as A shares had been sold to satisfy the prior mortgage debt.
Okay. So in the first mortgage with Mr. D, all the three brothers were supposed to contribute equally.
Yes, sir.
And in the second mortgage with Mr. E, all the three brothers were supposed to contribute equally. But in clearance of the first loan, that is with Mr. D, B and C have not contributed. The complete property of A has been sold, and the money has satisfied the loan of Mr. D. And afterwards, Mr. E, he has the right to get back his property money. So he has decided to sell the property of B and C. Then Mr. B and C demands Mr. A, hey, you give you have to contribute. You have the duty to contribute. Then the court says, yeah, there is a duty to contribute, Mr. B and C. You too had the duty to contribute, and when clearing in the first loan, have you performed your duty? You have not performed your duty. You have not made any contribution. You failed to contribute in clearing the first mortgage. As a result, now you do not have the right to demand the contribution from Mr. A to clear the second mortgage, that is to Mr. E. So when there is a failure to contribute to one mortgage money, and such persons cannot demand contributions from the other persons. So these are the two exceptions where contribution need not be followed. Okay? Yeah, two things. Now 81 is over, 82 is over. Next comes deposit in court. One more short notes. This is explained under section 83. Okay. I think you are bored by this now. Okay. It's 9 o'clock. You can take rest.
Actually, sir, this is little tricky. We are actually not bored.
No, ma.
But,
See, transfer of property is the borest of the bore among all the law subjects.
Very dry subject.
Very, very dry. And you can imagine it's so tough to convince the students. If it is criminal matters, if it is tax matters, yes, it will have some interest. But this is the most boring. But you remember, you have taken the law, you have to write the law, you have to write the answers. So try to understand, right? Okay.
Yes.
So next week and next class, I will teach 83 and 84. But please, when you are coming to the next class, please read once again 81 and 82. Only then you come to the class. Okay. So that it's all interrelated. Only then we can easily understand. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I will be there in time. I will do my best. But technology, it's beyond my control. It's beyond my power. So we have to bear with that. Right?
Yes, sir. Definitely we'll cooperate, sir. No issues.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. Good night. Take care.
Good
Good
night,
night, sir.
sir.
Thank you.
sir.